Hello there. I'm coming to you from Vienna. My name is Amrei. I am a knitter, among other things. And today I thought I'd share my opinions on the new knitting reality TV show called Game of Wool that is hosted on Channel 4 by Tom Daly, who many of you probably know. And it's basically a contest where people are trying to find the best knitter. And I thought I'd share my thoughts on that because it is Monday, I think 10th of November today, and the second episode aired yesterday. And I have so many thoughts about this, and I just need to talk about it. There is a big amount of videos about this show already, but I just feel like I want to talk about it too. I will be knitting on my socks today while talking, just to have something to do with my hands. This is the first sock of this pair I'm knitting, and I'm just past the heel. Anyways, let's get into it, I guess. When I watched that first episode, it made me a bit upset, to be honest. Apart from the choice of person to cast off, as they say, being wrong in my opinion, I just thought it was a bit poorly executed. And I am not very fond of these challenges, to be quite honest, because all of them have this very big time component. So knitters in the first episode had to do 2 projects. First of all, the single person projects, individual projects, which was to make like some sort of sweater vest with chunky yarn, and they only had 12 hours for that, which is not a lot of time, even on chunky needles, especially if you're not used to them. And the second challenge was to make a sofa cover in teams of 5, and they only had 10 hours for that. And that is just completely insane, in my opinion. And I don't think that it serves the purpose of finding the most skilled knitter out there. Doing this sort of challenge as a small part of the contest, I think would have been valid and a good choice, just to see how people perform under time pressure, because it can certainly mess with you, right? Being under time pressure sometimes doesn't yield the best results. And that is why I don't think it's a good thing to make the whole competition about. Because the second episode also was very much a time pressure thing. Now, the second episode I watched today, and the individual part of it was for contestants to make a dog outfit. Since dogs are way smaller than people, I found it much better in this sort of format, because it is realistic to make like this small of a tube basically in this given time frame. It's just less likely that people are not going to finish, and them not finishing giving them negative points basically. You shouldn't rate their skills badly just because they couldn't finish in a very unrealistic time frame. And I think the doggy costumes were way more realistic for the time frame, and you could really see that the designs were more polished and executed under a lot less stress, I think. And the second part of the second episode was to team up in teams of 3 people and knit an entire women's sweater out of mohair, and they had to include intarsia, which is a technique I have not tried before. And yeah, I had my gripes with it. An entire sweater is a lot to make in 10 hours, and they also had to design it on the spot. And I think just in this episode, I had quite a few issues. First of all, why did they include crochet as part of the challenge? They're supposed to find the best knitter. Knitting and crochet are completely separate crafts. You cannot and must not expect a participant in a knitting competition to crochet and judge them based on their crochet skills. One of the men there, he was not experienced at crocheting and he was really struggling with it. And this should not be a thing. Those are separate crafts. They should not be lumped together. This just further supports this huge misconception that they are interchangeable. They are not. Completely separate things. Apart from the fact that you can tension your yarn the same way if you're a continental knitter. I learned crochet first. I tension my yarn the same way as I do with crochet. That's about all there is to it. These are the things they have in common. Everything else is completely different. Why are we judging knitters based on their crochet skills? That is wrong. So first rant over. Second thing I want to say is that I really like Holger. He is such an artist, honestly, and so skilled at designing items. Like, he is creative, he has an eye for a detail, I guess, and everything he makes is so well done and executed like with technical perfection, I'd say. And I really like his work. He was also like crowned, what's it called, like best knitter of the week, basically. He really deserved that win. Another issue I have with this show is that supposedly they're looking for the best knitters in Britain or whatever. And yet, there are people in there who don't have much experience knitting. Make this make sense. Like, what criteria did they use to select the participants? Because when I watch a contest about finding the best knitter, I expect the participants, all of them, to be very much proficient at knitting and proficient at all sorts of techniques. Several people there have never done intarsia. To be fair, neither have I, but I did not compete. There are people who can't make a fitting neckline. That is an issue as a knitter. And there are people there who did not know what a twisted stitch was and that they were making twisted stitches. That is a big issue. And while this is no judgment on the participants in question's characters, they seem lovely. But what are they doing at this sort of competition? This just rubs me the wrong way. Like, how did they select these people? Because in the first round, they cast off Gordon, whom I really liked, and who has in the meantime uploaded 2 YouTube videos talking more about what happened on the show and like why he was cast off. I don't want to say thrown out, but I am having trouble coming up with the correct term. And I really like his YouTube videos, actually. I think I'm learning a lot and I really enjoy watching him. His channel is called, I think, Men Knitted in Scotland, and I really enjoy listening to him. Just both of these videos, excellent watch. Really recommend them. And the man supported himself and his wife with knitting for a while during lockdown. He's that good, like with making Fair Isle hats. And he was thrown out of the competition for the Fair Isle challenge. And that just rubs me the wrong way. Like anyone else but the man who supported himself with Fair Isle knitting. Like, make it make sense. I mean, sure, there were issues. He had to redo stuff and did not finish in time. That is a whole different issue. Other people also didn't finish. I will keep watching the show, but it really does raise some questions about the whole format, because yeah, I think just my biggest issue is that all of the challenges are time challenges. I don't think that's the ideal format for a slow craft, because this is supposed to be slow. Like, you're not supposed to make everything in 12 hours. That's not realistic, it's not healthy, and it goes against the very nature of this craft. And just because someone's fast doesn't make them good. And I think they should have paid more attention to like whom to select for the competition. And I wrote down some things that bothered me. At some all during the second episodes, I actually took some notes. But one of the contestants at some point said, "I am not that great at knitting." Huh? What are you doing at a knitting competition if you're, according to yourself, in your own words, not that great at knitting? What? What do you mean you're not that great at knitting? And also, not knowing what a twisted stitch is. What are you doing here? I don't remember if that was a different person, but what are you doing here if you don't even know what a twisted stitch is and that you have been doing it? And then there were some things about the presentation and the host. Tom Daly especially used a lot of these very outdated and a bit cringe-worthy knitting puns. And with the dog costumes, at some point it was said something doggy style, and you know, it has its place. I am an enjoyer of the occasional pun, even the very frequent pun, but can we maybe not, like, it's no, like can we not, please? Just no. And Tom Daly not once but twice said knitters and hookers. Most of you will know that hooker is like a funny, it's a pun, like because they use a crochet hook, and sometimes crocheting is referred to as hooking. I don't know if that's official, if that's an older term, if it stems from the joke itself, but like, can we not? Like, oh no, this is painful. And again, I enjoy puns, but please let's not regurgitate these very old and overused puns like all the time. Like there's way too much of it. It's so oversaturated with the weird puns. And at some point it was said that also during the judgment of the doggy costume competition that like the stiffness of the coat doesn't show off her beautiful form and shape. I don't know, can we not talk about dogs this way? I don't know, maybe I'm just reading too much into this, but it sort of gave me the ick, to be honest. It's a dog. It's a dog. And we don't need to be allured by a dog. Like, can we not, please? I mean, it's not a huge issue, but I found it a bit weird. In the second episode, Meadow was cast off, and I think, yes, there was reason enough for that. She at some point during the sweater challenge really had quite the big accident with her decreases, and I get why it would happen. I really get how that happened, because she was under a lot of stress doing Antarctica for the first time. Like, that must have been so stressful. That must have felt so horrible. And yes, it's understandable why she was let go. That may be all I have to say about it. I'm not sure. But I will definitely keep watching, just because I want to know what everybody's talking about, and also because I'm curious what challenges they will do. Will they at some point maybe get away from the 10-hour challenge model? I'd really like that. Like, give them 3 days, for God's sake. Like, give them some time to actually show their skills. Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to what Holger has in store, honestly. I mean, there are several people I really like in there. I hope that they don't incorporate so many different crafts in the competition. Like, they should really just make this about knitting. Because I just think they should really focus on what they say they're focusing on. And I don't know if I will make commentary on more episodes that are coming. Depends on how much I have to say and if I have the time, and if I even upload this video. I think that is about it. I think I only knitted like 2 rounds on this sock. I got so distracted talking. Oh, by the way, I should have said this in the beginning of the video, but what am I wearing today? It's the Pippi sweater by Kiss Kiss Rhinestones. And I knitted this 2.5 years ago, and it went viral, and I knitted it before it went viral. Yeah, I knitted this in Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool in a grey and like this rusty orange and fisherman blue, I think is the color. And I live in this sweater. I have lived in this sweater for 2 winters already, and this will be another winter that I spend in this sweater, sorry. And I really love this so much. Just, this has served me so well in my cold apartment. But anyways, thank you so much for listening to me rant. I very much appreciate it. And tell me your thoughts about the whole knitting competition. Like, what are your thoughts on that? And like the challenges themselves, the selection process, and how they're judged. Like, I'm interested in your thoughts, if you have any. I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for watching, and maybe see you in my next episode, where I hopefully won't just be ranting. And have a nice rest of your day, be it morning or night, and bye bye.